messing around with the cars day. Luckily for me, my wife is out running around with the kids doing fun stuff, so that means I get to do fun stuff. So I've put it off for a while, have just over 1,800 miles, 1,900 miles in the GT3. I do want to change the oil. I just feel better about it. And Porsche says you don't need to change the oil until 10,000 miles, but I'm going to change it now at 1,800, and then I'll change it again at 10,000. I guess I'll have to then drive to the dealer and have them reset the service indicator light. But I'm going to dump the oil out and jack the car up, put it on rhino ramps, and change the oil. I'm going to follow procedure from the forum. Seems that everything I do is, luckily for me, I don't have to learn how to do this stuff because somebody else has already done it. Pretty much my forum idol, Mike in CA, has written up basically everything that I've done. I end up copying what he's already done and then making a video of it and trying to take credit for it. So thanks, Mike, for putting this together. I ordered the kit from Suncoast and got the Molly oil filter, which I was surprised the GT3's filter is underneath the motor, where in the Carrera S you have to go take the fans off, take the engine cover off, and go in through the top. So I've got the replacement filter. I bought the filter tool to get the I don't know, she's a crescent wrench or a large socket to get that off. But I bought the filter tool from Suncoast. You've got the 3 different washers, which I guess I'll find out in a minute. Not washers, but replacement drain plugs, which they recommend. And 3 separate new ones, copper, the other 2 are with nickel. Crush washers, the grommet replacement, I forget where this goes. I think it goes a sealing. Where does this thing go? I think it has goes somewhere in the oil filter. I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out in a minute. And I got my computer with Mike's write-up. I've got vinyl ramps. I'll show you how I do this. I don't have the fancy jack stands for the GT3. I need to get them. I keep telling myself I'm getting a lift, and that hasn't happened yet. So maybe I should just buy some decent jack stands. I have a bunch of jack stands, but the Porsche jack points are so much different than other cars. So you really need to get the whatever that piece is, that special piece that fits on the top of the jack and then goes and connects to those jack stands, allow you to jack up through them. I forget what they're called, but I need to get those at some point. Got a giant roll of paper towels, because inevitably you make a giant mess when you do this. You'd think after changing oil for 15 years that I'd eventually figure out how to do this without dropping it somewhere. I've managed to successfully do it a few times without making a giant mess. But I always keep a roll of paper towels on me at all times because inevitably I end up dropping an oil filter, kicking the pan, or doing something stupid. And since this is the first time I'm doing the GT3, well, I'm sure I'll screw something up. I've got a couple of drain cans, a funnel, a couple of ratchets. You need a T30 Torx to take off the engine cover, aerodynamic tray, or whatever, the engine protector. You need a 8mm hex socket for your 3/8" drive and cover extensions. And then I've got a couple of jacks. People always ask me about these jacks. They're kind of chunk. Pull it over here and show you what they are. One is about a 4-year-old Harbor Freight, and the other is one I just bought this year. I've been buying these expensive jacks. I had Snap-on, I had 3 different Craftsmans, and the pump, the hydraulic pump here, eventually always end up crapping out. So I bought $300, $400 jacks, and they last a year, and then they stop working. So about 4 years ago, I decided to buy some cheapos, and this one here, I bought the 3-year warranty on it. I never buy that crap, it's a waste of money. But I bought the 3-year warranty on it. I think it's 4 or 5 years old now. The thing's bulletproof. It won't break. Watch out, it'll break today. But I thought I bought another one. I wanted to make it easier to get the car up in the air. But I bought another one so that you know, in case, because it had happened to me one time where the jack broke and I had the car up on, you know, on jack stands. I think it was like I forget which car it was, S2000 or something like that. But I had the car up on jack stands and the darn thing got stuck. So I bought a second one thinking that the first one's gonna break, and that was a year ago. And the darn thing just keeps going. So, you know, I usually, as you can tell from my journals, I usually don't cheap out on things, but on the jacks, I recommend you just buy some cheap ones because the really good ones end up breaking anyway. And the cheap ones haven't broken on me yet. So when I say cheap, I want to say they're, I think like $130, $160, something like that. So in comparison to $500 for like a Snap-on or some other, you know, fancy jack. So what I'll do is, since I got the camera out, I might as well do a cold start just for fun, and we'll get the car jacked up, put it on rhino ramps, and then start changing the oil. I don't know if I'm going to get the camera up underneath there, but we'll try. Let's do a cold start in the garage just for extra drama, just for fun. See how loud this freaking thing is. The valve is pretty loud. Ugh. Car's like, I want to say, what is it, like 180 degrees, something like that. I have 1,883 miles on it. So, get this down here so you can see what the heck I'm doing. Brighten it up a little bit. So, I use these goofy rhino ramps, and you know, the point of these is to drive up on them, but obviously the GT3, there's not a shot in the world you're going to get that thing up on here, it's just too low. It would be smart to buy some race ramps. But again, I keep thinking I'm getting a list at some point. So, again, because I don't have the right jack stands, I've always done this and it makes me feel better, is just jack the car up and put the tires on the rhino ramps. That way the thing's not going to fall on your head. For sure. These jacks just make it under here. When I'm having to drive up on some 2x4s. You guys that are real mechanics can yell at me later. I'm sure there's a smarter way to do this. But this is the way I do it. So, if you don't like it, I'm sure you'll tell me most people do. Just wrap it up. You probably don't even need 2 jacks. This guy, it's so stiff. Makes it a little quicker. notice, follow my garage journal, just made one. Garage journal kind of not very good. I don't know. Maybe I'm just spoiled by M3 Post and Renlist, but it's so tacky on there. I guess most people are tacky. So, sorry to offend. Sorry to offend, but well, maybe they're one of my jacks. No, still working. Anyway, as I was saying, I want to love Garage Journal. It seems that it's a different style than what I'm used to on the BMW and Porsche cars. Maybe it's because we're snobs. I don't know. I try to be nice. But anyway, I've been working on the garage. The cabinets are coming. Been waiting my whole life to do workbench slash cabinets slash tool storage. So I ordered Sabre cabinets. I wanted Glista, but this is supposed to be my temporary garage until I build my, is what I'm planning to do. Hopefully someday I'll next year be able to do it. Just stop buying cars. I can actually save a few dollars. Build out a separate detached garage where I will hopefully get my lift. So that's the plan anyway. But I'm working on this garage. As you can see, I did the floors, which I'm really happy about. I hate plastic flooring, but this stuff is pretty sweet. And it's 3/4 of an inch thick. They're roughly 16 tiles, and I'm really happy with it. I thought I would hate it, but my options were rather limited because I screwed up and did the epoxy, and I will never ever do again. I know that there's good and bad epoxy installations, but I think the odds of getting a good one is pretty slim. Probably would have been smarter to move this thing over a little bit, but I wanted to be able to get the car in frame. Sure, this is in the right spot. Yep, looks good. So I painted the walls, did the floor, started pulling some of the old stuff off the walls. As you can see, I moved my Psychopath stuff over, my detailing supplies. I know it would probably be smarter to just put it in a cabinet, but something about me just likes complete sets. I like complete things. Even when I was a kid, I loved having complete baseball card sets, football card sets, or action figures, you name it. So, it's taking a little longer because there's so much room. I got 2 more shelves up here coming. Finish it off. And then of course the whole back wall, all but about 10.5 inches on each side. Cabinets. You're going to have a 180-inch, roughly, workbench. I ordered my first vise. I ordered a Yoast vise. Felt like a real man ordering that thing. Like an 80-pound vise. It's funny, I was talking to him on the call when I was talking to him. I said, I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. I don't particularly know how to use one, but rest of my life. Alright. That over there. Jacks down. Just a little bit more. And we're jacked up. Car's up in the air. What are these? 8 inches? 10 inches? 8? About all you need. Mike recommends, and I've always done this, is keep the car level. That way you get the stuff draining out properly. Let's pop the proverbial hood, trunk, deck lid, whatever. That open. Oh, I forgot the most important thing. Oil. I'm going to use Mobil 1, which obvious Porsche recommendation, OW40. I know I don't need OW40 for when being in Florida, but I'm not an oil expert, and this is what it says to use, so that's what I'm using. All right. First thing, take the plate off. Engine protector plate. I'm sure some of you real men are going to tell me I'm doing this all wrong. That's okay. I'm always open to learning, taking suggestions. So this is the T30 Torx socket that you need. You know, growing up, I always wondered, like, man, if I get a Porsche someday, I'm gonna have to be well off enough that I can pay someone to work on it, because man, it's gonna be way too complicated. Well, lesson I learned is that these cars are easier to mess with than any other car I've ever had. Everything's right here in one spot. The exhausts are easy. Oil changes are easy. I mean, what else do you really need to do? At least the time that I have the cars, I never have them long enough to need to do anything crazy. Hopefully, I can keep this one for a while. This is obviously pretty simple. And remember, I'm figuring this out as I go along here. Just taking off these little T30s. One thing I'm probably going to get yelled at is I usually tighten things by feel. I guess it depends on what I'm tightening, but I don't know. I'd probably get out the torque wrench to put the bolts on, but the filler bolts or drain bolts. I don't get too excited about it. I never had a problem over torquing anything. I think I got a pretty good idea of what it's supposed to be. Torque to, just by feel. So you guys can yell at me for that later. I can take it. If you're gonna put anything on the internet, you better be ready to get made fun of, right? Well, I'll make fun of myself first, before you can. Looks like my plastic zip ties are holding up here. I just been too lazy to go get some metal wire to tie up my valves, vacuum lines for the valves. A couple more here. Well, they certainly make sure this thing isn't coming off. And many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, there's this thing come off. Obviously, I'm missing something. Oh, I need to pull up this thing, so I need a flathead screwdriver. Okay, step 1, remove the engine protector. Step 2, take off the oil filter cap. Cap's off. Got my drain pan. Oil's not too hot, so I'm not worried about it. Got my paper towels to wash the mess. You can see in Mike's write-up the oil tank plug is the one that's furthest in the back. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, right? Alright, as most do with a crushed up washer, it breaks loose. Oh yeah, there's mess number 1. Test out my new floor's chemical resistance. Lifts right up. Got the crush washer off with the drain plug. Yep. This is the one that uses the copper.
Daddy, who are you talking to?
I'm talking to my friends on the camera. So I had to use a 8mm hex, and I just grabbed an 18mm, whatever you call this thing, wrench, and just set it up like that to grab some leverage, because these other two are pretty hard to break free. Alright, so got 2 oil pans going, broke loose the hex, whatever drain bolts, there's still 3 of them. Last thing I gotta do is take off the oil filter. I've got a 5-year-old, 4-year-old, and a 4-month-old, all messing with me while I'm trying to work. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. Alright, now let me figure out how to get this oil filter off. Oh, really accessible, nice and easy. Pull this over. Get a remover tool. Put that on the end of it. Yeah, you're not going to be able to fit a socket on this, so I'll need a ratchet, or a wrench, 27mm. Lefty-loosey, right? Maybe it's righty-loosey. Nope, it's lefty-loosey. It's on there pretty stinking tight. I think I got the maneuver tool. This sucker will be coming off. There we go. Next time I do this, it'll take me 15 minutes to change the oil. I'm trying to figure it out. There we go. Finally breaking loose. Zero leverage. Let's see if I can dump this all over. Alright, filter's off. A little bit of fresh oil, used oil, doesn't matter. Around the lip of the filter. You know, they also sent this little green grommet thing. I don't know what the heck it's for. I think it's probably for the oil filter. I actually stuck it on there, but the factory didn't have one, so I'm going to take it back off and just chalk one up to, maybe if they forgot it at the factory, fine. Of course, you'd be doing okay without it, so I'm going to take it back off. The Suncoast sent this with the kit. Freaking mess. So, I don't know if maybe previous generations use this. It looks like it fits on there. So maybe we're supposed to use it, but I'm gonna take it off. Leave it off. See, it's this little green rubber grommet thing. Here's the filter. I'm going to screw it back in place by hand and then do a couple turns on it. Filters tighten up on their own, from my experience. Let's get as tight as I can by hand and then I don't know if you can see this, but here's the filter tool. On the filter, couple of little baby cranks. Well, the factory had this thing on super tight, so I'm making more than one turn, but I didn't tighten it very hard by hand. There we go. You're supposed to do 15 foot-pounds, so that feels pretty good to me. Get that piece out. Just wipe it off here. And we're done. What I'm going to do is fill it up, put the plate on. So I'm done underneath the car. Get this in focus, try to at least. This way. So right here is where there was like a rubber. You can see I was trying to get this thing off. There's another one down here in this position. Right here, where they were like a little safety, but in order to make it easier next time, I just cut the things off. So you'll notice you have to jam a screwdriver in there, and what I ended up doing is just get a pair of dikes and just cut it out. It was sort of a necessary thing. Last step, put the oil in the car. I'm assuming the GT3 is the same, but looks like the filler hole is the same, but I've read that some 991 and 911s caught on fire are different than the GT3. inside the motor and eventually caught on fire. So, might suggest take your time and filling it
I
up.
put my socks on.
Nope. So, I'm going to do 7 full quarts, and then I'll do like a tenth of the extra one. Then I'll let the car run, see where we're at, check the level. Again, this is OW40. 1. So if you just fill this too quickly and it would spill outside the funnel. I guess you could dump all the way over, all over the front side of the motor. So to recap, ordered the parts, Suncoast. Luckily I did that because I hear there's a shortage. I don't know if they've taken care of that, but I've heard there's a shortage of filters. So ordered the filters, ordered the kit from Suncoast. Lucky me, I get to pay sales tax because they're in Florida, I'm in Florida. It's alright. I think I can swing a couple extra percent. So, ordered the parts, which is the filter, the 3 plugs, some green grommet thing for something. Maybe someone can tell me what that's for. Ordered the filter wrench.
Please, what? Can you twist the stock around?
Yes.
Yes, and
Where's mommy?
she.
Oh, the sock's good. Look, that's where it's supposed to go.
But Kate, but look, it's.
Here, get away from the oil. Go have mommy do that.
Look.
I'm talking to my friends in the video. That 4-year-old is very, very particular, like somebody I know. Could be me, but I'm not sure. There's 6.
Sure about 5?
Yep. 5 quarts. 6 quarts.
Wait, can I twist this around?
Yeah, let me fix it. Give me your other one.
Okay.
Very high maintenance. Give me that. There you go. Okay, now. Twist a little more.
Yeah.
Better?
Yes.
Okay. Then we remove the plate. Sorry, we remove the engine cover or aero plate, whatever you want to call it. So here's number 7. I cut off the plastic pieces, the plastic safeties from the plate, so I don't have to mess with those again. Took the longest part of the whole install. Remove the main plug, remove the other 2 plugs and crush washers. Use 2 oil pans. It really will help to have 2. Remove the oil filter, put the filter back on, put the plugs back on, put the plate back on, put the oil in. So, I would think total process should take an hour and a half. I've been messing around with this for a while. I went and had some lunch and trying to figure out what's what. But now that I know how to do it, it should take an hour, hour and a half, something like that. Most of that time would be letting the oil drain. So I'm going to add a tenth of a quart, so about about 100 mLs. There we go. So now I'll get the car, put the car down on the ground, let it run. Obviously put the cap back on, let it come up to operating temp. Then check the level.